Well, this is kinda awkward. You weren't really supposed to know about the existence of SCPs or angels, but here we are, rattling off a list that shines a spotlight on both categories. Not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but at least you're now loaded with all sorts of new fun ideas about the way the universe works. Right on. The Foundation has done its best over the years to keep everything secured, contained, and protected, but how do you manage to keep an angel under wraps? Very carefully, I suppose. I guess this is just my way of undoing all that hard work. Sorry folks, the SCP angels are now public knowledge. So let's get right into the list. The top 5 scary SCPs that are angels. Coming in at number 5, we've got SCP-469. When you picture an angel, what comes to mind? Radiant white wings, maybe packed with beautiful feathers, flowing robes, a halo? All classic iconography associated with the heralds of God. However, we're gonna focus specifically on those wings and feathers for this SCP, because it seems that whatever the hell it is, it might just be an angel. But it also causes all sorts of horrific problems and is quite the pain in the rear to deal with. Known as the many-winged angel, among other things, this SCP is a gargantuan mound of avian wings, each covered with white glossy feathers. All of these wings are curled into a ball that weighs a few tons and is difficult to move around. The wings come in all shapes and sizes, from very tiny to extremely large, and they all sprout off one another in a fractal-like pattern. To make matters even wilder, all the wings have a strange, flexible bone structure that allows them to move quite fluidly, almost like snakes. This can be used for offensive and defensive capabilities, but does not prevent it from flying. At the center of it all, there is a curled up humanoid body. However, nobody's been able to study this body very effectively, as getting to the center of all the wings is a difficult task indeed. Plus there's the whole feeding thing. 469 subsists on sound waves and will do whatever it can to generate plenty of noise to consume. It uses this sound-based nourishment to grow even more wings. Its main way of doing this is to grab anyone and anything that comes too close and draw them into the massive wings. These feathers might appear soft, but they're actually sharp as hell and contain some sort of stimulant that prevents people from passing out. They'll be pierced by these thousands of sharp feathers and kept from going unconscious so that this many-winged angel can feed on their screams of pain. How pleasant. As of right now, the Foundation has been unable to conjure up any effective method of dealing with 469. Flamethrowers give off enough heat to let it replace any wings that may have been burned away, and getting in close has been written off after the loss of a few Foundation staff. They're considering acid immersion these days. Coming in at number 4, we've got SCP-4026. Now I don't know if I can classify this one as scary, maybe spooky, maybe a little paranormal, maybe something that you can make into a feel-good movie that sticks with audiences for years. Who knows? But we're all familiar with the idea of a guardian angel, yeah? You know, something watching over you, or people in general, waiting for a moment to step in and give you a little serendipity, some saving grace maybe. It can't happen every time, but it happens to folks often enough that they remember it and share their experiences. Well, this is a guardian angel who watches over a specific spot and prevents people from making potentially perilous decisions. It appears along a cliff near Sussex, England. Whenever someone comes within 5 meters of the drop, the people in question have to be experiencing some sort of life-ending ideation and planning on using the cliff to end it. When they appear here, they are approached by 4026, who seems to have a cognitohazardous effect on those who show up. After coming in contact with this SCP, they cite having a change of heart after feeling a bunch of negative emotions and possibly even some disgust at what they were planning to do. However, they won't be able to explain why they had said change of heart or what the guardian angel looks like. Unfortunately, things have taken a turn for the worse. You see, this guardian angel goes about his duties in an odd fashion. He doesn't tell people that life is worth living or that they'll receive some sort of benefit for staying alive. He eggs them on and says he likes to watch. This is usually enough to weird out the potential jumpers and send them back home to reevaluate. There's an incident log in the file that details one potential jumper getting violently upset with the prospect of his fall being entertainment, and then shoves the guardian angel off the cliff. Nobody's encountered the SCP since. Coming in number 3, we got SCP-861. Our first 2 angels today were rooted in modern pop mythology. Angels with halos and wings have more to do with non-secular greeting cards and chicken soup style movies in the actual Bible, and guardian angels are similarly modern inventions. Not all angels are humanoids though. If you watched our extensive series on angels and demons, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, don't worry though, I've got a little crash course for you. A lot of angels are unspeakable in form and often take on shapes such as fiery wheels or chimeric beasts, or in 861's case, a mass of regenerating liquid. It can move around on its own through unknown means and is often emitting a heatless flame that changes color often. Anyone who stands within 30 meters of this entity will hear some sort of continuous vocalization, kind of like a song. The language it's sung in can't be pinned down, but those who are exposed to it in person will claim to understand bits of it. If an arrogant or otherwise unsavory individual approaches the SCP, it will initiate a choir event, which basically means that the liquid takes over the person's body and forces it into a variety of different forms. It should be noted that the songs sung by 861 appear to be Abrahamic in nature, often referencing showing people the light, burning rings, and of course, fallen angels. Makes sense considering the fact that this SCP is known as the fallen angel. Coming in at number 2, we've got SCP-1846. If you're not a religious individual, you might find the idea of angels sort of corny. That's a really funny joke, stick around to figure out why. 1846 is a 50-something male humanoid whose entire body is covered in corn. The corn does not photosynthesize, nor does it consume nutrients. Indeed, the corn is purely ornamental. Additionally, 1846 can survive and in fact thrive on a diet of exclusively corn. Any other diet will result in malnutrition. Any corn plants that are touched by 1846 will grow bigger, stronger, and more lastingly than the average specimen. Oddly enough, there's a force constantly trying to pull 1846 into the sky. Upon asking the corn man about this, the Foundation learned quite a bit. Apparently, he is a corn angel sent down to Earth by the god Skrrbotf, spelled Srqnabotf. At one point there was a bit of a rapture as this god was ready to wipe the slate clean. All of the angels like the corn angel were brought back up into the sky. However, 1846 decided to try and stick around a little while longer to keep humanity on its feet. It seems that Skrrbotf doesn't quite understand how man-made materials work, so he's very slowly making progress in pulling 1846 up. Thankfully, the Foundation has put some measures in place to keep our corn angel on the surface, making corn better and preventing a corn-based apocalypse. His advice to us in the face of impending doom? Eat more corn, grow more corn, become very familiar with corn. The afterlife, apparently, is very corn-centric. And finally at number 1 we've got Dr. Clefs Proposal. One of the most famous and well-regarded 001 proposals, Dr. Clefs Proposal sets out a terrifying, fiery being seemingly awaiting the rapture. No corn, no liquids, no feathery wings. We're talking about an enormous being made of fire wielding a gargantuan blade giving out directives to those who come too close. We're all waiting to see what happens next. Nobody's quite sure which faith can claim this angel or what it might do, although I suppose we can all assume that the impure will be cleansed. Who knows, maybe we're all impure. Messages from the future have been intercepted, seemingly from when the world ends. Folks are engrossed by the rapture, singing its praises and generally being overwhelmed. Are you ready for that kind of experience? Well, if we take this entry as truth, I don't think anybody is. Start learning those heavenly choir tunes, folks. It's gonna be a bumpy ride if these are the angels we're gonna look out for. Not necessarily on our side and more fallible than we imagined, and of course, jam-packed with horror. What a world. I, for one, am perfectly content doing just what I'm doing at this point. I'll see what happens. So, what'd you think of the list? Did you agree with my picks? Which angel SCP makes you want to convert? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more persnickety ones from the top 5 scary Loch Ness Monster encounters. James Friel says the surgeon's photograph has been debunked. It was proven fake when one of the people involved admitted it was a dinosaur head attached to a toy submarine. But the legend lives on. You can't undo the Loch Ness legend with an admittance of forgery. Brandon L. Rushman says, why not throw a lamb in the water and see what happens? If there's a creature in there, it'll come and take the catch. Are you volunteering to be our sacrificial lamb? The Bright Side says, you are so close to the 1 million! Keep it going, folks. Marcus Aurelius says Keegan is always looking and sounding bored. Time to replace him. Hey man, just because I'm not always yelling doesn't mean I'm bored, but hey, your wish is my command. And Hannah says, fun fact, a lot of appearances can be summed up as whale penises. When I learned that, I about died right there. The good old whale wang explanation works every time. And that is all the time we have for today. I'm going to stand behind a skittish horse and yell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.